Hello, Miss One, everyone. I'm Huyền from class SMk03, and welcome to my presentation on the last two sections of sensory marketing, which is section 7 and section 8. Let's start with section 7, sensory principles for taste. When we think about taste, most people imagine food and flavors, but in marketing, taste has a much broader meaning. Have you ever said someone has a good taste in fashion or describe a brand as tasteful? Today, we will discover why taste, both literal and aesthetic, is one of the most complex and culturally significant senses in marketing. Taste isn't just about what's on your tongue, it's about how we judge quality, beauty, and even social status through brands and products. Let's start with the dual sense of taste. Here's something fascinating. Taste is actually dual in nature. There are two types of taste, which is inner taste and the outer taste. The inner taste is what happens on your tongue, the actual flavors you experience when eating or drinking. It's psychological and involves your taste buds detecting sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. And the outer taste is what your eyes experience, the judgments about appearance, color, shape, style, and texture. When someone has a good taste in fashion or design, this is the aesthetic taste. And why both of these tastes are matter? Because personal taste influences all decisions about brands, products, and service environments. For example, when you choose a restaurant, you are considering both how the food will taste and how the place looks and feels, right? So the inner taste provides both psychological and psychological reactions. It satisfies our physical survival needs, but also our emotional and social needs. In Sweden, for example, dining experiences are so highly valued, they have a special concept called fika, a coffee break that's really about social connection and quality of life. And the aesthetic taste, which is the outer taste, relates to our sensation from objects, brands, or environment. It is linked to our individual sense of beauty and good taste, shaped by both objective qualities and subjective preferences. Now let's explore how taste works both sociologically and psychologically. For the sociological aspects, your tongue and throat contain about approximately 10,000 taste buds. Interestingly, women have more taste buds than men, making them generally more sensitive to taste differences. This has huge implications for food marketing and product development. These taste buds renew themselves weekly, but this process slows with age. That's why older individuals often need stronger flavors, because their taste sensitivity naturally decreases over time. There are five main flavors, which are bitter, often associated with medicines or dark chocolate, salty, from salts and minerals, sour, from acids like lemon or vinegar, and sweet from sugars and some artificial sweeteners. And lastly is the umami, is the savory, meaty flavor discovered in Japanese cuisine. And here's the crucial point. Taste experiences are never just about taste buds. Smell, sound, feel, and touch all impact what we perceive as taste. Think about coffee, the aroma, the sounds of brewing, the warmth of the cup, and even the environment all affects how it tastes. For the psychological aspect, taste is an emotionally expressive sense that we use constantly in everyday language. We say things taste good or leave a bad taste even when talking about experiences that have nothing to do with food. Our taste memories powerfully influence current decisions. That Swedish fika tradition I mentioned, it's not just about coffee taste, it's about the emotional memory of connection and comfort. And I would like to introduce you the first sip effect. We often judge the entire experiences based on the first taste and the final taste. This is called the peak and rule. This middle matters less than these key moments. The cross-sensory effects is incredibly influenced by other senses. The color intensity directly impacts perceived flavor strength, sound affects perceived freshness, Think about the satisfying crunch of fresh vegetables. The smell and taste are also so closely linked that much of what we call taste is actually aroma, and finally is touch. Even the type of glass you drink from influences taste in perceptions. Some people even experience synesthesia, where a color can have a taste, showing how interconnected our senses really are. Now let's talk about taste perception and societal culture. Taste perception goes far beyond individual preferences. It's deeply cultural and social. Throughout history, taste has been linked to social judgment, identity, and what socialist Pierre Bourdieu called cultural capital. Your taste preferences signal your education, social class, and cultural belonging. About the taste symbolism, gastronomic taste is biological. We need nutrition to survive. The aesthetic taste is crucial and social. It reflects our education, social belonging, and class position. About the cultural implication, taste and consumptions are deeply intertwined. Having bad taste can actually challenge a social norms and affect how people perceive about you. This is why luxury brands invest so heavily in aesthetic appeal because they are selling taste as much as function. Now let's examine how service environments strategically use taste. The service environments use both aesthetic stimuli, which is the design, interior, atmosphere, and gastronomic stimuli, including the product samples, free tasting, to enhance the overall service experience. Offering product samples increases the pleasure, encourages variety-seeking behavior, and improves the brand perception. Research shows that both emotional, how it makes you feel, and informative, what you learn about the product, components are important for effective sampling. And the tasting aesthetic relates to how something feels and looks during the tasting experience. Your expertise, your knowledge, and both cognitive and emotional responses all influence how you perceive tasting aesthetic. A wine expert and a casual drinker will have completely different tasting experiences of the same wine, right? Now let's talk about how brands use taste for in promoting their brands and products. There are two types of taste stimuli. I have mentioned throughout the previous part already, which is the gastronomic stimuli, including the actual flavors, spices, nutrients, and product quality. For the aesthetic stimuli, they use colors, structures, and visual food design. So understanding these taste goods is really important because products can be categorized as search goods. You can evaluate before buying, like a car's appearance. Second type is the experience goods, which you must try to evaluate, like a movie. And finally is taste good, visually experienced and valued subjectively, like art or luxury fashion. Taste goods are particularly important because they are evaluated based on personal aesthetic judgment rather than objective criteria. The taste symbolism in branding is about how brands use taste to create what we call a taste signatures, distinctive experiences that become associated with the brand. Your brand knowledge, beliefs, and social cultural values all shape how you evaluate and symbolically interpret the products. For example, when Apple designed products with clean lines and premium materials, they are creating an aesthetic taste signature that communicates quality, innovation, and sophistication. Let me give you a perfect example of taste integration in retail. IKEA brilliantly integrates food and beverage services throughout their stores, offering a taste of Sweden alongside their furniture shopping experiences. The strategic benefits include, first of all, that IKEA can be able to strengthen their customer experience by engaging multiple senses. They will build the brand identification with Swedish culture and values, and they can increase the loyalty through positive emotional association and encourages longer visits because customers spend more time and money when they can eat during shopping. And they can also reinforce the brand identity because the affordable, accessible Swedish lifestyle extends from furniture to food. This isn't just about convenience, it's about creating a complete sensory brand experience that makes the customer feel connected to Swedish culture and IKEA brand's value. So, in conclusion, taste is our most complex and culturally significant sense. It operates on both gastronomic and aesthetic levels, influences our social perceptions, and varies dramatically across cultures. Smart brands understand that taste experiences, whether literal flavors or aesthetic judgments, are powerful tools for creating emotional connections and communicating brand values. Okay, so welcome to our final section, section 8 on multisensory principles. We have explored each sense individually, but here's the fascinating reality. Your senses never work alone, right? Because as you listen to me, you are simultaneously seeing, feeling the temperature, maybe smelling the air, and processing multiple sensory inputs without even thinking about it. So today we will discover why the most successful brands don't just appeal to some or one sense, because they create a complete multisensory experiences that are far more powerful than the sum of their parts. Let's start with the human senses and collaboration. Your senses are constantly collaborating in ways you don't even realize through two ways, which is the external and internal functions. Externally, you will perceive the world around you, and internally, you will process your thoughts, fantasies, and your internal dialogue. Your brain organizes sensory signals from all five senses to create holistic experiences. Think about walking into a BMW showroom, for example. You will simultaneously see the steel design, hear the ambient music, smell the leather, and feel the smooth surfaces, and maybe even taste the complimentary coffee. Your brain integrates all of this into one complete BMW experience. That's called a multi-sensory experiences. And interestingly, some people they have synesthesia because they can experience fascinating cross-sensory effects when where they might taste words or see sounds. While not everyone has this condition, we all experience some cross-sensory connections, like describing a wine as having bright flavors or warm colors. This is the neurological process through sensory integration by which your brain manages sensation and perception from all sensory organs. It's fundamental for understanding and interacting with your environment, and smart marketers leverage this natural process really good. Our senses evolved together for survival, such as the smell and taste were integral for identifying the safe food. The vision and sound became critical for spatial awareness and detecting danger. The touch combined with vision to develop our fine motor skills for tool use and object manipulation. So today, we're having a modern multi-sensory integration. Vision dominates spatial information, but auditory cues provides essential context. Hand-eye coordination through touch and vision integration remains essential for how we evaluate and interact with products. Let's understand what happens when multi-senses work together. Multisensory perception occurs when two or more senses integrate simultaneously through cognitive, emotional, and sensory processes. The result isn't just additive, it's synergistic, meaning the combined effect is greater than the sum of individual sensory inputs. And the second type is the synergistic effects. These multi-sensory combinations improve your ability to detect, identify, and respond to brands and products. For example, the sound of a car door closing combined with the visual design and the feel of the materials create a much stronger impression of quality than any single sense alone, right? So here's the key principle. Individual seeks optimal levels of sensory stimulation. Too little stimulation will lead people to seek more sensory input, while too much will cause them to reduce or avoid stimuli. This is sensory overload. So the practical applications. can be understand here is the field studies, which shows that the interplay of music and scent can significantly impact purchasing behavior. When these elements work together harmoniously, they will create environments that encourage longer visits and increase the spending. Now let's talk about service environments as multisensory interaction. Let's examine how service environment strategically combines these senses. Research constantly shows that congruent music and scan combinations increase store ratings, customer joy, and overall satisfaction. The key word here is congruent. The sensory elements must work together, not compete. And the power of congruency is when music and scent are congruent, meaning they complement and reinforce each other. They positively impact store evaluation and customer excitement. For example, the upbeat music with energizing citrus scents or relaxing music with calming lavender. I have a case study for you guys to have a better understanding for this part, which is the IKEA case study. In visual dominant environments like IKEA, non-visual congruent cues like appropriate music and subtle scans will significantly improve the shopper emotions and purchase behavior. The visual experience of seeing furniture displays is enhanced by background music that matches the lifestyle being presented and subtle scents that make the space feel more like a home. And studies also show that combining visual, olfactory, and tactile cues, which is also called triple sensory integration, will create the most powerful effects. When customers can see, smell, and touch products simultaneously, it will significantly increases both touching behavior and actual purchases. Let's look at how brands and products use multisensory strategies. Comprehensive multisensory experiences are experienced through all senses, with packaging playing a central role in delivering multiple sensory cues simultaneously. Multisensory product evaluation, particularly combining seeing and touching, will significantly enhance consumers' attitudes and purchase intentions. When there's a mismatch between what you see and what you feel, it often leads to further exploration, which can actually create more positive brand attitudes toward increased engagement. And the strategic use of non-congruent stimuli is can be explained that sometimes inconsistency between senses can be strategically beneficial, and these mismatches can create surprises affecting both emotional and aesthetic evaluations. When used thoughtfully in design and product development, surprises can be a positive differentiator. For example, a product that looks heavy but feels light, or looks rough but feels smooth, can create memorable experiences that make the product stand out from competitors. Let's explore how complete multisensory brand experiences are created. First of all, it's through the physical service environments. Ambient multi-stimuli sensory engaging in all five senses, vision, hearing, smell, touch, and taste, will directly influence emotion and behavior. Research shows that vision and touch are typically the most influential senses in retail environments, like spas, stores, and tourism locations. And one more thing is the online service environment. Currently, digital experiences are primarily limited to vision and hearing. However, the future of AR, which is augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality, are emerging technologies for digital smell and taste, could dramatically expand multisensory online experiences. Even today, the visual and haptic interactions through touchscreens can significantly increase the product preference and engagement. And the most successful sensory brands like Apple, Singapore Airlines, and Disney have achieved high sensory sensogram scores, meaning they effectively leverage the multiple senses to create distinctive brand experiences. And lastly is about comprehensive benefits, which is the multisensory simulation that enhances brand experience, building brand equity, and increases the purchase intention for far more effectively than single senses approach. We have come to the case of Kia models. is a complete multi-sensory brand transformation. Kia Motors developed a comprehensive multi-sensory branding initiative to transform their global brand identity from a budget option to a desirable, innovative, automated brand. For the vision, they created a distinctive tiger nose font, really designed for immediate visual recognition across all models. For hearing, they developed a sonic signature called the Rise of Surprise, a distinctive audio identity used in advertising and brand communications. For smelling, they create Kia Fragrance, a signature scan linked to their brand values of being vibrant, distinctive, and reliable. This scent is used in dealerships at brand events. Touch. They invested heavily in premium interior materials and advanced in-car technology like the 360-degree cameras, smart park assist, and haptic feedback controls that feel sophisticated and responsive. For taste, they do like collaborate with special events. They partners with a Michelin star chef and create recipes that reflect their brand identity, which is innovative, surprising, and high quality to create a comprehensive brand experiences with the customers. So this multi-sensory approach of Kia model is used consistently at global events, in dealerships, and even on their websites through videos and virtual experiences. The result has been significantly improved the brand perception and stronger the emotional engagement with customers worldwide. So, in conclusion, the multisensory marketing represents the pinnacle of sensory marketing strategy. When all five senses work together harmoniously, they create brand experiences that are more memorable, more emotional, and more persuasive than any single sense could achieve alone. The most successful brands understand that we live in a multisensory world and their customers expect complete, integrated experiences that engage them at every level. Here are the references that is used in these last two sections of sensory marketing. From understanding how our brains process sensory information to seeing how individual senses work to finally appreciating how all senses collaborate, we have discovered that sensory marketing isn't just about products or advertising. It's about creating complete, memorable experiences that connect with customers at the deepest psychological and emotional levels. The brands that master this multisensory approach don't just sell products, they create worlds that customers want to be a part of. They understand that in our increasingly digital world, meaningful sensory experiences are more valuable than ever. And that's also the end of my presentation on section 7 and 8, which is also the last two sections of sensory marketing. And thank you so much for all of your attention. And I hope that throughout this four sections of 8 sections of sensory marketing, I have successfully covered all of the important information and knowledge and the amazing world of sensory marketing to all of you. Thank you.